Welcome to a spooky casual trek, a Star Trek recap and ranking podcast brought to you by Nerd and Tie and knifing a woman a dozen times in the fog. I am Charlie Etheridge Nunn, a writer and a fan of Stephen King's The Dark Half.
And I'm Miles Reed Lobato, a science fiction writer and a fan of Stephen King's The Shining, in both novel, movie version, and well-meaning but flawed TV movie version.
Yeah, I get that. It has some moments, and I like the guy that plays Jack Torrance.
Yeah.
Like, he feels a lot less pre-mad than Jack Nicholson, who obviously is fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, it does keep a lot of the alcoholic aspect of the novel, which I feel is pretty important for a novel about an alcoholic. But it's quite funny because from watching the American version of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining has stuff that is not in the UK version. And I swear they cut out a lot of the references to alcoholism in the UK version.
Oh.
I think.
That's weird. Were they like, no, this would be too much for a mirror held up to that nation?
Maybe. Like, yeah, so, like, when he brings up being drunk and breaking Danny's arm in the bar, like, this is the first time you have brought this up.
Huh. That's weird.
But, like, I could be misremembering earlier viewings of The Shining.
Okay. I think with The Dark Half, obviously I've picked it because of today's topic, but it might be one of the only Stephen King things where I saw the film before I read the book.
Ah.
Because, yeah, God, I think even It, which was the second ever Stephen King that I'd read before watching the glorious performance of Tim Curry.
I'm trying to remember if I saw the film. I know The Shining was one of my early ones. The Shining, Salem's Lot. Yeah, I know I saw the TV movie version of The Stand because before reading The Stand, because The Stand is just insane.
It's a bit big. But this is not a Stephen King podcast, because then we'd be stepping on the patch of just King things. And I already feel bad about being behind enough with that.
As opposed to the Batchat, which we're kind of cribbing from, or all the many Star Trek podcasts that we are in a long, unending chain of.
Like a legacy. A nice, It's all right. I've been trying to tell my brain not to try and work out the logistics of doing some kind of 2000 AD read-along, if only because I've existed in those first 4 years of 2000 AD for more than enough time reading and then rereading them before moving on to 1985, where I'm at now.
So in terms of, like, if we're a legacy character in the Starman group of characters, which one would be? Would we be the Steve Ditko one no one really remembers? Or are we... I want to say Tom York, who is but I know that is that's the musician and not the Starman from the far future who gets time displaced.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be one of those two, and it's Tom Callor.
I do love that part in the James Robinson Starman when he finds out that his future is going to be to go back in time and be like a Starman in the past. Like, wait, but I know how he dies. This sucks. And it's just kind of grumpy for the rest of the story.
Oh, good old Starboy with that. Yeah. Anyway, what we are here to talk about is horror, and specifically in Star Trek form. But before then, what horrifying things have you been enjoying?
Well, I'm British, so there is the horror of asking someone, how are you? And then they give you an honest answer.
Oh, terrifying.
Oh, yeah. But what I have been enjoying, at the time of recording, this is October the 13th, and I have been enjoying horror movies.
Yay!
Because, I've got to get my viewing in, because I'm not watching horror films throughout the year. Okay, so Horror movie wise, that this year I have seen, I recently rewatched Creepshow for the first time in a long time. A lot of fun. Um, Targets, which I would say is horror tangential, but does star Boris Karloff. And recently, and Don't Look Now by Nick Rowe, one of my personal favorite horror movies of all time. And then yesterday, my wife Rihanna and I did a double feature of Misery,
Ooh.
another great Stephen King film based on a Stephen King book, and In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter, by which is very tangentially King. So, Charlie, I must ask you:
Yeah.
do you read Sutter Kane?
Oh, I've In the Mouth of Madness is actually a film I have not seen.
It's in terms of like late '90s John Carpenter, like his career. I would say like when he hits the '90s, his career does kind of unfortunately drop off a bit, even though he's still making some good films. I would say that In the Mouth of Madness is up there with like They Live in like that late period. He hasn't yet reached full Ghosts of Mars.
Oh yeah.
But I do have a soft spot for Prince of Darkness, which I go in going, yeah, this is kind of bad. But if I ever wanted to see John Carpenter direct a Doctor Who, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah, God, Ghosts of Mars was the very first time, I think it was Ghosts of Mars, where I became that guy that will inevitably go to IMDb during a film going, I recognise this person. Who is it? But it was before having a mobile phone, so it was a case of running into my friend's room where he had a computer and going, right, none of us can remember who Claire Duval is.
And like a lot of these films I saw in the 90s in VHS, and you are also of the generation who I feel that if I were to mention the term pan and scan,
Oh, yeah.
you've gotten very angry inside.
God, it's difficult because sometimes you end up going, oh yeah, that four buffery kind of thing. Like watching the first three seasons of Buffy and knowing there are versions out there where they've forced it into widescreen and actually cut more things out. And go, fine, no, I should watch this in 4:3 instead. But yeah, I remember getting very angry as a youth with that sort of thing.
Because I think it's just like people of our generation. Because like when I mentioned pan and scan to Rihanna, she was like, "That's what it's called." I didn't know it was actually anything, but whenever I saw it, it pissed me off. It's like I think a lot of the early Star Trek films I saw on like 80s VHS, and they are all pan and scanned to the balls.
Yes.
That's the scientific term. That's the scientific term for it, pan and scanned to the balls. Not speaking of balls, Charlie, what non-Star Trek thing have you been enjoying?
So, I too have been watching horror movies. Nature Trail to Hell has started its new series, so as they're covering paranormal activity, and I've never seen any of them before now, I've been watching I've seen the first two. They're about what I expected, not necessarily in a good way, but they've certainly been films. I've rewatched Battle Royale last night. Still holds up. Really enjoyed it. And for me, I'm about to run a role playing game called Deathmatch Island. So it was research. And then a film which the stall Stop, Look and Listen at the open market recommended me, called Ennis Men. And it's a weird, slow, creeping kind of West Country horror.
Ennis Men?
ENYS.
Okay, for a moment I thought I misheard it as Ellis Men, and I'm just thinking, oh god, all the Warren Ellis male characters in a room on a team together would be insufferable before it even started.
Yeah, God. Yeah, that would be terrible. But yeah, this was, I think, from about 3 years ago. And it's about a woman on a small isolated island who is taking readings of some flowers on part of the island. And she does that, and she drops a stone down an old hole which looks like an old mining shaft, and she's alone, but she isn't alone. And we ended up watching it, I think, early afternoon on a Saturday, and it made for a weird space with it all, but it was hypnotic and really interesting to see.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
I just want to say I was not wrong about The Shining. There is a European cut that was
Hmm.
25 minutes shorter.
God, I wouldn't have expected it that way round.
And apparently Kubrick much preferred the shortened European version.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm reading this. I am reading this article. Yep, a lot of the abuse and alcoholism is kind of cut and made it more something talked around and not explicitly said. And yeah, like there's a lot of bits here and there. Apparently a lot of the Halloran trying to get back to the Overlook also cut.
Hmm.
So making his arrival a lot more surprising, and then his death a lot more surprising.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, like it's always. That said, we do have strange cuts to films in the UK. I always remember like Enter the Dragon. The iconic nunchuck scene was removed from a lot of versions until like the early 2000s, and so the cover of the poster where it has Bruce Lee holding aloft a pair of nunchucks has been kind of painted over to look like a bow staff, like what
Huh.
Donatello uses in the Ninja Turtles, who are
Yeah,
called the Hero Turtles in the UK.
of course.
Of course. Unfortunately, the paint job is so bad it looks like Bruce Lee is about to attack you with a very crusty baguette.
Oh, I mean that could still be pretty bad.
Mm,
I wouldn't want to be attacked by a crusty baguette.
no.
Right. Well, on that note, rather we will attack you with a crusty baguette of the ears with some horrifying Star Trek episodes.
That just sounds like a really weird ASMR. Like one of us is going to pull out like a baguette and just start crumbling and crunching it in front of the.
Yeah, just rip apart a crusty roll.
Let me make you a tasty sandwich.
Ah, wow. God. Anyway, yeah, this trio of horror episodes is Star Trek often steps one foot in the realm of horror. This time they are all themed around kind of altered states or possessions, that kind of thing. So, our first episode is Star Trek The Original Series, Season 2, Episode 7, titled Wolf in the Fold. It aired on the 22nd of December 1967, written by Psycho's own Robert Bloch and directed by our Joey Pevs. The UK number one hit was the Beatles with Hello Goodbye, and the US with the Monkees with Daydream Believer, which it feels like Hello Goodbye must have been number one for the majority of season 2 of Star Trek the original series.
It is kind of hard to think. Like I don't know. I don't keep abreast of like the charts these days.
Mm.
So it just seems to be like as we get closer to the present day, just songs are just chopping in and out immediately. Whereas we've got songs which are in the number ones for like weeks. And I will say something. I don't know. I feel it's not maybe controversial. I feel the Monkey song is a lot better.
I don't know. They're both good. They're both corkers, but it is that weird thing of how they're both old artifacts and going like. There's definitely Beatles songs I enjoy more, but yeah, that is one of the better Monkeys, I feel. But yes, so I am recapping Wolf in the Fold, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Okay, Charlie, I have a question.
Oh yes.
Why the belly dancer outfit? I'm not saying it doesn't look good on you. If you've got it, flaunt it. But do you really have to be dancing while doing the recap?
look, you've got to get in character, and frankly, in this case, I need exercise, so why not?
All right. Okay. So you have 5 minutes to recap this episode of Star Trek. If you wish to dance along at home, please do so. Music may or may not be provided, depending on who is doing the edit.
Yeah.
And begin.
So, speaking of which, we start with an extended belly dancing sequence, and Scotty is thrilled. He's been down to Argelius 2, a pleasure planet, with Kirk and Bones because they weren't keen on Spock harshing their game. Kirk's invited the belly dancer to sit with them, which Scotty reckons is a sign of a generous captain. Kirk is less thrilled about that. A sinister man walks off and the dancer sits with the lads, only to head off into the fog. Scotty offers to join her. Wink. Bones says, "This is great." Scotty got a bonk on the head from a workplace incident and ever since has a pathological hatred of all women because of it. And this might be a sign he's getting better. Outside, sure enough, it's all foggy and there's a scream. The dancer's dead. She's been stabbed a dozen times and Scotty's there holding a knife, all passed out. Scotty is accused of murder. There's a Mr. Hingus there from Rigel 4 investigating, as the locals are pretty harmless and passive. Scotty has no memory of seeing the knife. And a Count Olaf looking guy, Prelate Jarrus, shows up, saying the law of the planet's love. Also, his wife is a bit of an empath. Spock beams down a technician, a woman, and you can kind of tell where this is going. She's going to run a memory scan on Scotty, and he looks terrified. Sure enough, after they go into Jarrus's basement dungeon, there's a scream, and Scotty's passed out on a chair, and Lieutenant Tracy has been knifed to death. Scotty is almost in tears at the thought he could have killed a woman, and Hingus asks a couple of other witnesses, the dancer's dead dancer's boyfriend, who is called Mauler and was the suspicious guy from earlier, and her dad, Tark. Hingus seems overwhelmed by everything, and it really doesn't help that he's the actor who played Piglet in Winnie the Pooh. Mauler was jealous of the dancer hanging out with the Starfleet lads and stormed off, but that's it. He wouldn't do murders. Meanwhile, Cyber, the empath, is going to do a seance. Everyone holds hands. There's something terrible here. A monstrous evil who hates women. An ancient devourer of life. The light goes out, there's a scream, and she's dead in Scotty's arm with a knife in the back. This really doesn't look good for him. So, with all of this, rather than honouring Rigel 4 or Argelius's laws, they decide to beam everyone up to the Enterprise and run some scans which should remove any doubt. They'll get comfortable, and I want you to get comfortable because it's a long act in the meeting room. People testify on the Starfleet cuck chair, and oh no, there's another woman here. Get her a stab vest just in case. They scan Scotty, and everything he says actually seems true about not being a murderer. Mauler and Tark also get scanned, and they're fine. And Hingus really doesn't help during all of this. He's criticising the whole process. The crew go over Cyber's words. Regic, Bradis, Keslak. What's it mean? Scotty asks the computer, and the first name is an alias of Jack the Ripper. Oh, what? He'd be really old now. Yeah, Spock asks if a murderous, misogynist cosmic entity exists, and the computer's like, yeah, probably. In fact, those other names, they're also names of otherworldly murderers as well. Apparently it feeds off fear, and I stress this is them saying that. Women apparently feel fear more easily, and that's why it keeps killing women. Anyway, scans are in on the knife. It came from Rigel 4, Hingus's planet. Ooh, he tries to flee and is pretty easily punched out. The lights all change and the computer laughs. Oh no, Jack the Ripper's got in the Enterprise computer. It's gonna try and spread fear throughout the ship. Kirk and Spock do a really dumb thing and get in a lift only for it to go screwy. And Bones' solution for this is get everyone high. They'll lose the ability to have fear. He injects almost everyone, while Spock gets Jack the Ripper, the computer, to calculate pi in order to distract him. Back in the meeting room, almost everyone's off their tits, and Jack goes from person to person.
Oh, I am sorry. I just gotta say, the bit when they say women naturally feel fear. Did you watch this with your partner?
No, God,
okay,
no.
Because I can calculate the exact moment my wife checked out.
Yeah. It feels like Gary Gygax's whole thing about not writing D&D for women because their brains couldn't process fun. So, you dead wanker.
My wife was enjoying the belly dancing at the start of the episode, and she was just there, and then like that part came up, and like, hon, do you need me to finish this later?
Oh dear. Yeah. Yes, I realised partway through writing my notes that the guy was called Hingist, not Hingus. But I've just left it as that way because I prefer.
Hingus. Oh, Hamish, you forgot your tea. All right, let's finish this bad boy and head to the pub.
Yeah.
Go.
So, the Jack the Ripper cosmic entity lands in Hingus again, who gets thrown about and then carried to the transporter room while saying, "Kill, kill, kill," in the literal voice of Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. He's beamed away as widely as possible, dispersing all of Jack the Ripper's atoms and Hingus's across space. The drugs are going to take about 5 to 6 hours to wear off, and Spock suggests, let's go on some R&R to occupy the time. Back to the belly dancing cafe. Kirk reckons Spock wouldn't like it. Oh well.
45 seconds. See, I maintain that the reason Kirk didn't want to take Spock to the belly dancing sex bar is because he realized Spock would pull.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Spock would pull more than Kirk, and Spock wouldn't. As has been established in in the original Trek, women find Spock incredibly horny. And also, that Spock would not be trying. He would just be talking to the dancers and legitimately be interested in their college degrees. And he'll just be leaving with like several women hanging off each arm. And Kirk's just like, he's not going to do a damn thing. He's just going to walk them home and be very polite about the whole matter.
God, I mean, Kirk was fuming enough when it looked like Scotty might pull. But yeah, Spock, oh my God, he would be livid.
Okay, so do you think that Bones was just really horny and just came up with like the dumbest reason to go to the nearest space red light district?
I mean, Bones did seem very happy to be there.
We had to get Scotty laid, Jim. He has a pathological fear of women.
Hatred. But yeah. As his doctor, I have to be there when he pulls.
Do you think they told the rest of the ship why they're going down? And Kirk says like, okay, we're gonna go down to the planet to get Scotty laid. No R&R for the rest of you. You all have to stay up here. It's too dangerous down there. While me, Bones, and Scotty go and hopefully get laid.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe it's that kind of thing of putting a ship-wide announcement. We're really sorry to any of the women in engineering. We're on it. Don't worry. We know he's become a rampant misogynist, but we're just gonna help him get his end away on the belly dancer planet.
Yeah, he got whacked on the head during like an OSHA violation, and now he is just kind of Matt Walshing all over the place. I'm sorry, Bones. I call bullshit.
Yeah. God,
just like
yeah, it was an interesting planet to go. Yes, this incredibly useful planet in our kind of map, and it is coincidentally the belly dancer planet. Okay, I get it, Starfleet.
Well, the planet of the Nymphomaniacs is too far away.
Oh no. Yeah. Too far from Riser. We need our guys to go down somewhere.
Oh no, Bones probably thinks Riser is tame.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, Bones feels like someone that has seen all of it before.
But Bones be like, I had to carry a statue, fuck that. Man, okay. I know we've talked about how weird classic Trek is in comparison to its much more, like, serious and at times po-faced 90s incarnation. But my god, they have a proper fucking seance and everything.
Yes, it was amazing. It was like a round of werewolf. It was I loved that. The moment that I saw that there was an episode where Scotty might be Jack the Ripper, I was like, that's going on the call sheet for this. Originally it was two kind of around possession and one that's something else entirely. It's like, fuck it. No. This. I have to see what the hell this is about. Yeah, I mean, apparently this is a kind of story beat that Robert Bloch did a couple of times on TV and once in a short story. So I don't know how similar it was to his yours truly, Jack the Ripper.
I got a book of Jack the Ripper kind of stories and then never got round to reading it. He did a story in a similar vein for Harlan Ellison's New Wave SF anthology Dangerous Visions, where Jack the Ripper is reincarnated in the far future.
Hmm.
And then Harlan Ellison wrote a kind of a sequel story in that same anthology, kind of following off elements of that first short story, where he has this Jack the Ripper character skulking around this kind of pristine, shiny space future society.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that does feel like Mauler in this was an incredibly obvious red herring. Like, he dressed like you would expect a Jack the Ripper to dress, and had this serious glare. Like he had a face like somehow in a '60s American TV show. Obviously, he would be a wrong'un in some way.
He definitely had the kind of facial hair that Christopher Lee would sport in a Hammer film. Not
Yeah.
necessarily a Dracula film, but in a Hammer horror.
So yeah, it was an interesting episode, especially where I put the notes down. I had no idea that Jack the Ripper was going to possess the Enterprise. Also, a misogynist cosmic entity, apparently. I also list out the cast normally to help me with spelling their names because science fiction shows, man. But then I also ignored it for this. And looking at the list, I was like, there are so many women in this. Is this the most women that have been in an episode? And watching it and realizing because most of them die.
Die.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yes, I mean Jarrus's dungeon was an interesting setting. It looked a bit like it came from Cat's Paw, almost.
Well, wasn't that also written by Robert Bloch?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing him recurring in our horror segments for Halloween. And yeah, the other thing I heard about this was apparently instead of injecting people with something to get them high, they were supposed to be drinking many layered drinks, kind of like cocktails that would change their moods. And it was not only expensive, but the censors thought this might be about drug use in some way. So, like Gene Coon called them all full of horse shit. But I'm guessing expense won out, and instead of drinking fancy layered cocktails, which I could go for really right now, but yeah, it was just Bones sticking his hyper spray into anyone he got near.
Matt, I'm surprised that Kirk didn't get his shirt ripped like in The Naked Time.
What, just vroom, rip the shirt
Injection.
open? I know it's a tearaway, Jim.
Like,
I know you designed it that way, and frankly, it's easy access for the hypo.
on a quick tangent to Jack the Ripper, has Jack the Ripper appeared in X-Men? Hang on, isn't Mr. Sinister Jack the Ripper? I'm sure that's a thing in like.
Yeah, I think there's something like that. If it's not him, it's something related there. But yeah, it's
I know that Jack the Ripper.
oh no, a parasitic entity from the dark dimension, apparently.
Oh, okay, fair enough. In Babylon 5, Jack the Ripper is actually Jack the Ripper, like a guy. It's
Yeah,
just that he was abducted by the Vorlons and held in cryo storage
ha,
for reasons. Because there's a point in season 2 where the Vorlons want to test the Len and Sheridan to see if they're ready for what lies ahead, which basically involves Jack the Ripper torturing Delenn in Babylon 5's basement to
of
see if
course.
she's ready for like space messiahdom. Because why would these, supposedly benevolent aliens abduct fucking Jack the Ripper for workshopping purposes?
Yeah. Yeah, Jack the Ripper does appear a lot in these kind of things. Like I think JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was a fun one where, in the buff guy Victorian era, Jack the Ripper ended up I think a vampire or something.
Isn't it just Dio is Jack the Ripper, or did he meet?
Yeah. Yes, it's been a little while since I read that. And at some point I need to continue because it was so ludicrous. It was good fun.
I know that there is a film which I keep meaning to see, also written and directed by Nicholas Meyer of Star Trek II fame, called Time After Time, which stars I believe David Warner and Malcolm McDowell, one of whom is Jack the Ripper, one of whom is H.G. Wells, who actually builds a time machine. And somehow Jack the Ripper gets a hold of this time machine, and they all end up in the present day, and shenanigans ensue.
Yeah, I definitely remember hearing someone saying about there being, like, given all the glorying and Jack the Ripper murdering all these women and all this. I think it was 2019. There was the untold lives of the women killed by Jack the Ripper, which actually reframes it and goes into their lives and their perspectives rather than just having them as people,
to be killed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
in a salacious fashion.
So Malcolm McDowell played H.G. Wells, and David Warner played Jack the Ripper.
Right.
Which I'm interested in seeing. I get the feeling they probably offered the Jack the Ripper part to Malcolm McDowell, and Malcolm McDowell went, "No, I've kind of done this already. I did this in A Clockwork Orange. Can I be like the kindly H.G. Wells, horny socialist, and have David Warner here play Jack the Ripper? Oh, by the way, in about 20 years' time, can I kill Captain Kirk?" This did make me want to bust out my copy of From Hell, because it's, I don't know, I think I reread it like a couple of years back. And From Hell, probably one of my favorite Alan Moore comics. Unfortunately, it is dense to the point of ludicrousness.
Yes, yeah. Always felt like the weapon of choice against shoplifters in the comic shop. It was that or any Cerebus volume. Yeah, I mean, that said, from Alan Moore, there's always his the big hardcover Lost Girls, which of course these days would be a good weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if we're talking about using graphic novels as weapons, are we done?
I don't know. It's a good episode. It's a lot of fun. The belly dancing is really good.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a fun ghost story. It's always nice to see Star Trek kind of go into weird mysticism and just kind of accept it that, yeah, this is how shit goes.
Yeah, with Jarrus going, oh yes, my wife's an empath. And people aren't like, oh yeah. Like, oh shit, okay. We deal with those. And Roddenberry wasn't a big fan of having a lot of psychic stuff or anything like that, despite the amount of weird cosmic entities and things. But
they have to be weird cosmic entities so Kirk can beat them up with a bit of gravel.
Yeah. Or in this case, scatter their atoms. I did have a moment's pause when I was like, Okay, yeah, they've scattered all of the atoms of the Jack the Ripper cosmic cloud thing across space in the hope that it'll take a very long time for it to get back together. And where's Hingus? Oh,
I think Hingis is dead.
I think his atoms are quite scattered
Because
too.
doesn't Kirk punch him? There is free uses of "he's dead, Jim" in this episode.
There are, yeah. It hasn't been happening as much as you'd think.
No, but like it did have one of my favorite classic Star Trek tropes that when a fight starts, it goes to a long shot, and it's very clearly not, and it's very clear the actor's stunt doubles because there is no way the actor who plays Piglet is doing a 2-footed flying kick at Bill Shatner's stunt double, and I think he like Kirk punches him and he drops dead.
Oh god, yeah, that is a just real solid whack. And the thing is, when he's dragged away, he is like, kill, kill, kill. Like, I can't do his voice justice, but just saying kill, kill, kill in Piglet's voice is
It's probably a better horror movie version of Piglet than that fucking Winnie the Pooh blood and honey slasher horror film, which just feels like it feels like it should be a YouTube parody and nothing else. But no, someone actually did it because
it feels like every year as something else enters public domain, we're going to get that kind of thing.
We're gonna get like when Superman ever enters public domain, we're gonna get a ton of really bad Superman horror movies. Like, ooh, what if Superman were evil? It's like, well, okay, they did that in The Boys, and then they did that in that James Gunn film Brightborn. They did it in that film, and then like we kind of did it in Marvel Man, and then
most depictions for Sentry and. Yeah, and Squadron Supreme with Hyperion and Hyperion's individual appearances, and too much.
Yeah,
we've done it too much.
We don't need any more evil Superman.
No,
with the exception of Ultraman from the DC universe.
Yeah. So, what we do need more of is ranking things on our big list on our journey to 200 things ranked. We currently have 184 with down at the bottom at the lowest place we have Star Trek section 31 where it very much belongs. We have 92. That's Lower Decks' V Stars at Night with Shax's Second Best Day. And right up the top, we have Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. So this was a fairly fun episode. It was silly level original series rather than, kind of good level original series. I was chatting with a friend about Star Trek, and she was saying, like, all the original ones, are they just a bit shit? And I was like, I thought that's what it would be like. And how you and I entered all of this with you thinking TNG would be very kind of, stiffly posed action figure kind of thing. And I thought that the original series would be too long and a bit dull, frankly, with everything. It's like, actually, there's some really good shit out there, stuff like your Balance of Terrors and Conscience for Kings.
Actually, it's a lot of fun.
This is definitely not them.
No. Like, this is definitely not a Conscience of the King, which is, man, that's down at 24 now.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of sad, because I was like number 10 when it first got introduced.
Let's see. I was trying to find Cat's Paw, because that, I think, is also lower than I expected. Yeah, it's currently at 136, with the big castle in space, the Macbeth witches, with the giant kitten.
What's the one with the robots? With the robot duplicates and Lurch, and it's the one where Kirk's holding a dildo rock.
Yeah, I was going to ask for dildo rock. That's 127 with What Are Little Girls Made Of?
Which also written by Robert Bloch.
He's been responsible for some good ones, even if they are in our kind of lower levels here.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I might have to say, as much as I like a good Jack the Ripper riff, I do think I prefer What a Little Girl's Made Of.
Mm.
Because that goes into Lovecraftian old ones, subterranean cities, ancient technology, strange apparatuses. And as good as this one is, I feel What Little Girls Are Made Of is better.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. A few below that, we have Virtuoso at 129, where the Doctor ends up being appreciated for his musical talent, and then they just want that endlessly repeated.
I think that this is better.
Yeah. Okay, and in between those, at 128, we have Investigations, where Neelix starts up a news channel, and yeah, and murders.
Murders, betrayal.
Ooh,
I think I know it's gonna be this again.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think this is probably better than Investigations, as fun as it is.
yeah. At least it's not Neelix starting a podcast, because he would be doing sponsored slots from the go.
Oh God, I mean, I'd love it, but also hate it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, okay, so that makes this the new 128. So, our second episode is Star Trek Voyager Season 3, Episode 18, titled Darkling. It aired on the 19th of February 1997. Teleplay by Joe Menosky. Story by Brannon Braga and Joe Menosky. And directed by Alan Singer. The UK number one hit was No Doubt with Don't Speak. And the US had Spice Girls with Wannabe. And yeah, like, I've softened a bit on Spice Girls over the years, but I'm still not the biggest fan.
No. I mean, it's still a catchy song. I can't deny that I wasn't grooving to it as I was listening to it in the kitchen.
Yeah. No Doubt, on the other hand, I enjoyed the singles as they appeared on MTV, but I enjoyed them more when they were on Rock Band. And what was the other thing? So Elite Beat Agents had, like, basically rhythm music games ended up getting me into No Doubt a bit more. So yeah, this has been my jam music wise. So you have 5 minutes, otherwise I may have to throw you off a cliff while you're wearing a bad wig.
Wouldn't be the first time, especially with the back wig.
And I say that, you actually have the hair. I would need to wear a wig if I was chucked off a cliff.
I mean, I can, just because I have hair doesn't mean I can't wear. I could be wearing a wig for costume purposes.
True. Well, on that note, begin.
Voyager is above a settlement of space travelers as they plan to get information on the further path ahead through the Delta Quadrant. A space captain / barkeep is telling Janeway about a moon that was actually a creature big enough to generate its own gravity, and how it probably almost swallowed the Millennium Falcon. Kez has been working with a traveler called Zahir, and again, kind of close, Zahir chases off the barkeep, but tells Janeway that these moons are rich in beryllium, material engineering usually very much needs. Back on holodeck, the Doctor and Neelix are hanging out with Mahatma Gandhi, Lord Byron, Socrates from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and T'Pau, one of the greatest diplomats of Vulcan history.
Also a pop group.
Also a pop group. And it's not going well because Gandhi and Lord Byron are kind of... Gandhi is basically like, take a cold shower. And Byron's like, I want to hump anything that moves. The Doctor is going for a series of famous figures, and he's planned to take all their better character traits and immerse them into his own programming to improve himself. The Doctor is annoyed that Kez has been spending more time with the travelers, and especially Zahir, instead of him, now that Kez and Neelix have broken up. Ooh, spill that tea, girl. The Doctor, especially, get and when Kez goes on about how great Zahir is, the Doctor tells her to do what Gandhi suggested and take a cold bath. Later, the Doctor is treating Torres for a stomach complaint based on eating the fauna from the planet, and starts getting very handsy and inappropriate. B'Elanna is shocked that the Doctor has just been adding parts and new subroutines to his programming, since there's no way to know how the new additions will interact with the original programming. The Doctor apologizes, and Torres promises to take a look over his programming later. Meanwhile, Kez and Zahir are getting cozy in the woods down on the planet. They're both getting their flirt on, which only ends in a kiss and no mustard hands sex, while a robed figure looks on creepily. Kez returns to Voyager at 3 a.m., looking pretty satisfied, if you know what I mean. No walk of shame for Kez. The Doctor is troubled by her recent behavior, bringing it up as both her doctor and her mentor. And Kez is annoyed at people treating her still like a child. I'm not a child, Mom! I'm 3 years old! Kez brings the report to Janeway, and Janeway is far more understanding of her relationship with Zahir than the Doctor is. Kez wants to spend more time with Zahir and wants to explore with him, and then meet back up with Voyager later. She's been wondering if she wants to spend the rest of her life on Voyager, and maybe she wants to go out and spend some time with Zahir. Janeway will help and advise where she can, but the final choice is Kez is alone. She's got a few more days to think about it. Zahir admits to Tuvok that he's in love with Kez and wants to keep her safe. Zahir wants Kez to make a booty call, but Kez has to return to Voyager to catch up on her work. Walking alone in the forest outside the settlement, Zahir is attacked and pushed off a ravine by the robed figure. Back at the tavern, the robed figure attacks the barkeep and sticks his hand in the fire. It's the Doctor, demanding passage off this world, and he's being a lot more growlier voiced than usual. Back on Voyager, Kez activates the Doctor, asking for help with the positions on the planet with Zahir's injuries. As he's about to leave, Torres tells him that he can't leave. There is a problem with the subroutine. The mixture of the different personalities are clashing. Even the positive aspects of the various figures were still tempered by the darker aspects of their nature. Those darker aspects are now contaminating his program. Torres advises that the Doctor switch off while she cleans out his programming, and the Doctor starts to glitch out. Meanwhile, Tuvok can't find any DNA traces from Zahir's attack, and as he and Janeway enter sickbay, Torres is unconscious on the floor, undergoing anaphylactic shock from food she ate on the planet. The Doctor is reactivated to take care of Torres, but his program is still glitching, and he briefly blinks out only for the dark version to blink back in. He brings Torres back around. Turns out he was the one who actually attacked Torres, who has just twigged that he's a brand new personality and that his subroutines are breaking down. The evil Doctor tortures Torres, crippling her from the waist down. He needs her help to delete the good Doctor from his programming, but the thing is, if he deletes the good Doctor, the evil Doctor will also die too. Torres won't help no matter how much he tortures her.
Oh, time is up, alas. Oh dear. Oh, it looks bad. And given this and one of the other stories we covered, what is it with, crippling Torres? Anyway, carry on.
The evil Doctor leaves the sickbay, planning on attacking a female ensign in a turbolift until Tom Paris turns up. The Doctor enters the holodeck and populates it with the historical figures he applied into his subroutine. Meanwhile, back on the planet and back on CSI Tuvok is questioning the barkeep. But Zahir has recovered enough to show Tuvok and Chakotay, oh yeah, he's in this episode, to show him where he was attacked. Kez finds Torres in sickbay, tells no one, and traces the Doctor to the holodeck, where he is actually experimenting on the constructions of the various historical figures. The Doctor snatches Kez's comm badge and takes Kez down to the planet so he can escape with her. Oh, and he's doing that kind of Brad Dourif, I'm above morality bullshit that all psychopaths do to kind of justify why they should be psychopaths. Kez twigs that the evil Doctor is scared of his own original self. Tuvok has worked out that the Doctor was behind Zahir's attack, but they can't trace him because the Doctor has set up like a scattering, scrambling emitter which can't beam them back up to the Voyager. Back in the tavern, the Doctor is trying to work on his mobile emitter, but if it's damaged severely, both programs will be destroyed. The evil Doctor feels he should live more than the original because he feels that the dark parts of human nature are more fundamental than the good. Kes counters that empathy and goodness are inherent in all life. The body itself is a cooperation of both positive and negative factors, and no society would have evolved without understanding and cooperation. Even a program as advanced as the Doctor needed all these different aspects working together to create him. The good Doctor deserves to exist. But the barkeep arrives. Janeway has twigged what's going on and won't let them leave the planet. The Doctor glitches again, and he leaves to take Kes to the scout ship, planning to escape elsewhere on the planet. But Tuvok and Chakotay block their path. The evil Doctor threatens to throw Kes off a nearby cliff top, but if they delay him long enough, the Matrix is going to kind of fix itself, and the Doctor will be alright. Kes realizes that the evil Doctor is actually driven by compassion and a care for Kes, and that he's been wanting to protect her in his own twisted way. The good he claims to have suppressed is still there, and in an angry rage, the Doctor pushes them both off the cliff. But Voyager is able to fix the transporter just in time to beam them back, and the Doctor is seemingly all fixed. Torres has done a Norton antivirus scan on the Doctor and has deleted all the negative, evil personality stuff. If he wants to improve himself, he should read a good book. Kes has decided to stay on board for now. Given the nature of her life cycle, it makes sense to stay on Voyager with its medical technology and knows she cares about. And alone in his sickbay, the Doctor recites aloud the Hippocratic Oath, ending on "Do no harm."
Oh, that's 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Oh my god, the Doctor was so terrifying in this.
Okay, I know it's definitely a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yeah.
Was it me, or was the evil Doctor extra toothy?
Yeah.
Like, and I was wondering if that was like a deliberate choice to evoke one of the early I think it's a Todd Browning Universal Jekyll and Hyde, where the Hyde has much bigger teeth than he does as Jekyll.
Maybe. I know that Picardo had to wear like fake teeth and contacts as well, which made him they made the black of his eyes so much darker, and then had a kind of light aura around them, which just made him look. There was something jarring and unpleasant. Even his hair, what little there is,
they darken it, don't they?
Yeah, it felt like that. It was kind of, I don't know, more unkempt as much as that little hair can be. It was an impressive job making him worrying, especially because everyone loves the Doctor. He's nice but a bit acerbic, and you wouldn't really expect this sort of thing, which just makes it even more fun. No offense to our killer in the next one, but I do think this is probably the performance of the night, murderer-wise, between Piglet, Picardo, and Robinson.
Okay, I'm thinking of the transformation from the 1931 Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which was using filters and different colored makeup because it's black and white. So as they're removing the colored filter from the camera is picking up more information, so it's picking up the makeup, so it looks like the transformation is just happening right in front of you. It's like a really fascinating, piece of early special effects and how did they do this in a time before we could just, digitally do everything with computers.
So it's always interesting seeing how people innovated and adapted to that kind of situation. Apparently, Braga wrote this for Picardo after discovering that he was one of the actors in The Howling, which was one of his favourite horror movies. One which, admittedly, I've not seen, so I don't know how prominent or not Robert Picardo is.
Same. I was not expecting the Kes romance subplot. And I admit I was
haven't seen the bit where the breakup happens, assuming it happens in an episode.
And I was not expecting Kes to be getting her end away in this episode, up to the point of beaming up onto Voyager at 3 a.m. and basically beaming.
Oh my god, yeah. It was good to see, and I do wonder if they'd have known that she was the cast member they were getting rid of. If maybe they could, in another world, they might have gone, yeah, fuck it, let her leave with him. Have a nice life for her remaining years, rather than whatever they end up doing. But yeah, so Byron plus Gandhi plus Socrates plus T'Pau equals murder.
Well, we all know that famous glitch from one of the Civilization games where you can turn Gandhi into a dictatorial psychopath.
Oh my god, so it was Civ Gandhi, not actual Gandhi.
Oh god, the bit with the holodeck, they wanted to do more with like the holodeck torture sequence. Like you show me from your notes that they wanted to have the Doctor torturing a hologrammatic Kez on the holodeck, and oh dear god, that would have been terrifying. And again, just solidifies our ongoing question: why the hell does anyone have the holodeck on their ship?
Yeah, I mean, from what I gather, there were going to be multiple Kesses that he was operating on in order to know her better. And it's like, oh, that's so unpleasant. That's brilliant. I love it. And yeah, I can see why they didn't.
I mean, like the psychosexual kind of part of the evil Doctor Kez relationship is a bit in this episode, and the Doctor with Torres in that first scene after the credits, where he's just being very inappropriate, is done uncomfortably well.
Yes,
it's not being played over the top. It's not being he's being a sexual predator. It's like he's just being a dude and just being very handsy and inappropriate.
Yeah, like you'd imagine a historical Doctor being like this, of like, yeah, it's problematic, but it was a different time. But no, this is like, yeah, unpleasant. It goes from as playful as the Doctor often is, to a real creep.
It goes from playful to creep in about 10 seconds, and Robert Picardo makes it work.
Oh, he is amazing in this, and it's that thing like when we saw the DS9 crew getting some of their retro drama on, that kind of thing, giving these actors some room to work and to flex and go like, yeah, you've had almost 3 full seasons of Picardo as the Doctor, and now you've got this. There's an intensity to him.
I like Janeway wasn't in the episode much, but like the one big scene she had with Kez, I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
with her kind of being like the mother figure to Kez, going, okay, so you met a boy who's not Neelix. Okay, so we've already traded up.
Yeah,
and you want to go and you want to do a year out and travel India with him. That's great. Just make sure you've weighed all the pros and cons.
Yeah, remember to take protection. It's that thing of having her as ship mum, and while also, obviously she is the captain, but having this kind of these kind of conversations, especially with someone like Kes, who, people infantilize, but she's kind of an infant at times.
Yeah.
And it's all difficult and weird. Any of that. Oh yeah, she's 3 years old. That means she's an adult in a camper years.
I wonder if this is one of the downsides of how we're doing this by watching Star Trek so incredibly out of order, that we're not getting a chance to see the performances grow and develop in a weekly format.
It'd be interesting, given most of what is known about Kes, and especially the Kes Neelix relationship, is the whole child bride thing. And did she develop? And it just wasn't in the episodes that I've seen before now. Does she take that time to develop over the show? because there are still some season 2 ones where it doesn't feel like it's quite there.
And like then we did the one before and after, like a few episodes ago, where Kez is unstuck in time, and we see older Kez, but older Kez has no memory, so we're not seeing it fully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an interesting journey.
nice to see Tuvok kind of get to play detective for a little bit.
Yes, yeah, it's I don't know, it's a role that he's definitely good at, and hopefully we'll see some more of that.
And I did like the scene with him and Zahir, where Zahir's giving mentions, and Zahir's like, I do actually love Kez, and I want her friends to like me. And Tuvok's like, I would like to like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's a nice little scene. It's one of those, Vulcans aren't completely just emotionally dead.
Yeah, it does feel like Tuvok does a lot of heavy lifting with that kind of thing to go to humanize them a lot more, and that's always appreciated. What I didn't appreciate so much was the wigs of like Zahir and the bartender. Like the bar guy, the moment I saw it, and it was like, this guy's just a bit of a braggart and all of that. It's like, I don't know, it felt like I got a lot of Jeremy Renergy coming off of him. Of that kind of, I don't know, like, yeah, something a little off. But yeah, as someone that used to have long hair and couldn't really pull it off, I felt kinship with their bad hair.
I do have, like, okay, for one thing, I'm glad that Zahir wasn't killed.
Yeah.
I do wish we had seen the scene where Kez decides to break it off with him. And also, it would have been just really easy to have him turn out to be a jerk. So then Kez can break up with him and just be guilt-free.
It's that problem of, in a way, going, yeah, that part of the story we don't care about enough to fully close off. Instead, just everyone back on the ship. Let's go.
Oh, okay. So you decide to break it off with Zahir. Okay, valid reasoning. But then it's always that worry with romantic films, romantic comedies, where, have you ever seen the film Run, Fat Boy, Run?
No.
Okay.
No, I've generally found Simon Pegg without Edgar Wright has not made some good film choices.
Yeah, because you have the partner of his ex-wife, and he's perfectly fine, and he's the best, like, seemingly like the best boyfriend, until like the very end of the film, where you kind of need to give extra justification as to why the ex-wife would go back to Simon Pegg. And it just turns out, oh, right, yeah, he has violent anger issues, and that just came out of nowhere.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know it's out of favour to give the MCU any due these days, but Ant-Man actually did that really well, of going, yeah, Scott Lang's not getting back together with his ex-wife, but he is going to be part of his daughter's life, and the mum and the new husband are still together. They aren't, like, he's not somehow a jerk or a villain.
Yeah, he's like that. He's just like, yeah, we want you to be a part of our life, just not that much.
Yeah, and it works. And as someone that's been a child of divorce since I was 7, yeah, it happens. There's not, like, I don't know. It rarely feels like it gets handled well.
No, it just becomes too easy in fiction to go, oh yeah, all mothers-in-law are evil, snide witches to their daughter's husband, and all like boyfriends to like your ex-partner also are actually jerks, secretly jerks.
Yeah, they're all going to be jerks. Like, oh dear. Well, on that note, we ought to pop over to the big list and have a look where Darkling goes. I guess, actually, in a way, trying to find a good starting point, Virtuoso has the Doctor a bit out of sorts and a bit pissed off at being kind of just a Doctor, and then getting annoyed at being just a Virtuoso.
Well, he's not being on it being just a doctor. He actually just wants to improve. As he says, he wants to improve his
Yeah.
manner, his actual doctor skills, not as a
Yes, he wants
medical
to
doctor, but
self-improve.
yeah, which is completely valid. It's just that in one he becomes a diva, and in the other he basically becomes a sex killer.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no! Would he have been the recipient of a steamy TV movie kind of thing if this was set in the present day?
Played by Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, I mean, again, he has that energy.
He does have that energy. He does have that kind of he does have that look of someone who's just like, yep, you have definitely paid money to watch someone pee into a bucket.
uh, I'd say this as someone that enjoyed Renovations, the TV show where he tried to solve all of society's problems with his overly large collection of vehicles that need fixing up. They're like, these people need a dance studio. Could we maybe sort out a dance studio?
Wait,
Or
wait, hang on. Is this basically Challenge Annika with Hawkeye?
yeah, yeah, and Challenge Annika meets the A Team because everything is him customizing a vehicle.
Okay, for context for our American listeners, Challenge Annika was a Saturday night BBC One show where where presenter Annika Rice would her and a team of experts would try and would have a challenge to build a new park or a new youth center in a couple of weeks for to help the local kids.
Yeah. So imagine that, but the solution is an overly large bus that they're cutting the side out of so it can open up into a dance floor for people. Where are they storing it? How are they affording its upkeep? That doesn't matter. Jeremy and his goofy sidekick, who has a lot of Kevin James energy, are on to the next thing.
Oh.
I wouldn't recommend it in good conscience, but it is entertaining bad television if you want some of that.
Have you ever seen Robert Picardo with hair?
No.
It's quite
Aside from the wig he wore in Before and After.
Yeah, there is a quite impressive shot of him performing hair at his university, and he has what would be termed a proper Jufro.
Oh wow. Oh. Yes, that was my brother's haircut for many a year before he started thinning.
No.
Okay, so I think it's probably better than Virtuoso. Okay, another Voyager one at 110. We have Jatrell, which has some fun war crime things, and again some dark actions which have been done. This time by a war criminal.
I want to rank Jatrell higher because I feel like very rarely does Ethan Phillips get a chance to really be good on the show. And as good as this is, we can probably find a dime a dozen episodes where where Robert Picardo gets to shine as the Doctor. But there seem to be very few times when Ethan Phillips gets to shine at showing us aspects of Neelix where he's not annoying Paddington Bear in space.
Yes, I mean as much as I like the Doctor's performance in this, and like camp horror murders, always good in this house. But yeah, there is something quite nice with Jatrell about them actually dealing with.
Yeah, it's nice about Ethan Phillips getting to play nasty, and nasty in an angry way, not nasty as in you should be on a register for your relationship with Kez.
Yeah, not like the hey Kes, I used to be something of a bad boy. So no, this is actually bad.
Like him in the earlier in back way back in Caretaker, where he's far more like Del Boy in space than he becomes.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple down from that at 112, we have DS9's Captive Pursuit with a lizard being hunted, hiding out there from the Gamma Quadrant, which again is good fun.
Underneath that, at number 113, we have DS9's Equilibrium. Turns out Jadzia had a secret host who was really a dangerous psycho killer. Ooh.
Oh my god, yes, that was great. He was not as much of a killer as he
No.
liked to think. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, that's yeah. I think this is probably better than Equilibrium.
Yeah.
I was thinking for a moment that was the Esri one, but no.
No, it's the one with Jadzia. Like it again. It's like it's nice to it's nice when you get to see when the actors act. And I remember Terry Farrell giving a pretty good performance as Jadzia being helpless, which is one of those states Jadzia is normally not in because she always has that very kind of reserved confidence of someone who has had all these many lives, and to see her kind of lose a grip on what she knows is
Yeah.
some really good acting. And I remember there's being some like, didn't that one have a lot of weird dream imagery?
Oh yes, yeah, it did.
But I think this one's better. This one is definitely better.
Cool. So that's the new 113. So, our final episode is Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 24, titled Empok Nor. It aired on the 19th of May, 1997. A reminder to me that a lot of these aired around the same kind of time, because I was prepared for this to be earlier than Voyager, but no. Teleplay by Hans Beimler, story by Brian Fuller, and directed by Mike Vijar. The UK number one hit was the only one of these 97 hits that I needed to look up, which was Olive's You're Not Alone, and the US had Hanson with Bop. And Olive's You're Not Alone, the moment I started hearing it, I was like, oh god, yeah, this takes me back. It's that one. Which, yeah, felt like a whole era of music almost. And yeah, Bop, I unabashedly enjoy.
It's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like I also had to set it because I have a friend who is really into Hanson, and they might track me down and kill me.
Fair. Yeah, it's one I enjoyed when it first came out. I grew tired of, and then Joseph Kahn's film Detention stealthily used it initially in the opening credits, where there's a kind of a track which starts off sounding a little 8-bitty, a little kind of, oh yeah, this is a bit of a bop. Actually, this is fun. And then when it hits you with the bop, it's like, oh, it's that! Oh my god! I enjoy bop!
Wait a second, this isn't just a bop, it's bop!
Exactly. And yeah, it's a very good horror film and has a very good soundtrack, two of the tracks of which are bop.
Oh, please tell me there's a slow cover. There's like a slow cover of bop.
If only. No,
Oh.
you have the kind of purposefully drawn out first opening titles bit, and then it is, of course, the school dance at the end is also bop.
Oh man, I want like bop in a lower key.
The way that people don't license the actual music but get some other people to do a slightly forlorn version for an advert.
Hans Zimmer's cover of bop.
Yes. Get on that, Hans. We know you listen.
It'll be better than Danny Elfman's cover of bop.
I mean, I'd kind of want to hear that as well, but it would be horrifying.
I don't know. I was once Tom Waits.
Yes.
Like I think there's a cover of songs you want to hear Tom Waits sing, and one of them would be like Hi Ho.
Oh, he did a version of that chorusless, so it was tricky to figure it out when I first heard it on Ballers, Brawlers, and Bastards.
Oh, that's a great album.
It was on the Bastards CD, as I think it was on a compilation of Disney covers originally. And yeah, it's It's so good, so grim. It's the kind of thing where, like, if I wanted a soundtrack to people going down a dark, dingy mine in the trophy role-playing game, I'd put that on.
Because Underground from Swordfish Trombones would be too obvious.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and wait for someone to click and go, hang on, this is hi-ho. Anyway, do you know what isn't hi-ho?
This episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Empok no.
Correct, my recap of, in fact. Although, if you imagine me digging down some kind of grim mine while recapping this, that's on you.
Charlie, you've got 5 minutes to recap this episode. Don't stick your hands into any psychotropic drugs. You have a problem with that.
Oh, spoil sport.
And begin.
So, it's a quiet night at Quark's bar thanks to some very loud engineering work from O'Brien and his helpful sidekick, Nog. There's a leak and they're going to need a replacement part from another old clapped-out Cardassian base just like Deep Space Nine. Luckily, they know one. It's an abandoned station called Empok Nor and has exactly the same specs, so they can use the same set. But it's going to be full of traps as the Cardassians abandoned it. Hopefully, a Cardassian can get through them, so it's time to bribe Garak. He's up for a bit of a trip and concerned about how people are trusting him these days. Don't worry, that won't last. Garak and Nog play a Cardassian board game, and Nog's not pushing the aggression as much as he should. Garak asks O'Brien for a game and starts needling him about the murders he did of Cardassians during the war. This will be a thing later. There are also 4 engineers from DS9's lower decks. Boktar, the amiable blue one. Pachetti, the blonde who collects Cardassian memorabilia, the weird war nerd. Amuro, not Amuro. Gundam people. He's the bald one. And Stoltzov, the girl one. Don't get used to any of them. I figured I'd save putting searched in memory alpha just in case. And
I'm sure these are all characters with long and varied backstories.
Oh, we're gonna love them all.
They're all gonna be very important in future events throughout the rest of the show.
Yeah, sure. Empok Nor looks like DS9, just sideways and with a little bit of different lighting. They send Garak in first to check for traps, and he wanders around. The lights turn on, the screens all start flickering, and someone is thawing out. The group split up, and Garak gets some goo on him from a staircase. Some kind of biogenic compound, but it's probably fine. He finds some stasis tubes. One is broken with a dead Cardassian in, and the others are empty. And Garak's really perplexed. Why would any Cardassians stay here when it's abandoned? That's not like them at all. Boktar says Pachetti would love this. Classic Pachetti. O'Brien and Nog start fixing things, but Nog left a tool on the runabout, Wazzock. He runs off, and oh my god, the runabout's unmoored, and it blows up! It's time to regroup. I've some Cardassians loose. Oh no. Amuro and Stoltzov are a bit cocky about this, but they're tricorders. Oh no, they're not working. No one's are. Amuro jokes about sending off smoke signals to get help from DS9. And actually, O'Brien reckons they could do that. Oh yeah, he's a good engineer after all. Garak's still perplexed about the Cardassians who stayed behind, and one of them is spying on Nog, but he sneaks away. Stoltzov and Pachetti are off fixing things and get ambushed by a Cardassian. Oh no, they're killed, and our main characters arrive just a moment too late. O'Brien sends Boktar and Amuro away, and Boktar's scared, understandably, given him and Amuro both do not have future credits. Oh well. Garak wanders off to hunt the Cardassians himself, impatient with the others. I know players like this in role-playing games, going off rogue alone. O'Brien tries to stop arguing with Amuro. To stop Garak arguing with Amuro, but Garak starts pushing his buttons again about the whole war and murdering Cardassians. A Cardassian tries to sneak up on Garak, but didn't check a stasis tube, and Garak pops out of it and kills him! One down. It turns out these Cardassians were so full of psychotropic drugs to make them even more racist. Boktar is chatting to Amuro, who's way too eager to kill the remaining Cardassian. Doesn't have to wait long, as that Cardassian pops up, murders Boktar. Garak steals, and then murders Amuro for good measure. O'Brien finds a dying Amuro who warns him about Garak, so now it's just O'Brien and Nog versus a psychotic Garak in an abandoned station. They're both really jumpy, and O'Brien theorizes that Garak's been infected with the same psychotropics. Garak, on the other hand, is climbing around and starts talking about that board game he and O'Brien, well, about the current most dangerous game he and O'Brien are playing. Kind of like that game from earlier, but he feels more alive doing this. He attacks Nog, kidnaps him after locking O'Brien in an office, and even gives a whole "we're not so different, you and I" speech to O'Brien.
Nope. No. You do. Okay, quick thing. Do you think at one point Cole Meany just went, okay, you realize that Cardies is a really stupid derogatory term for Cardassians, and then just thought, they're Americans, fuck it.
They won't get it. Cardies, for those that don't know, is cardigans.
Cardigan.
But, that's right.
If you've ever also people in the audience, if you've ever wondered what the ambient soundtrack of Brighton is, that the sounds of construction at the start of this episode, plus psychotic seagulls, is pretty much what Brighton sounds like when the pubs are shut.
Yeah. Sounds about right. So
begin.
Yeah, it's time for a big confrontation. Garak tells O'Brien to meet him on the promenade, where he's strung up the corpses all decorative-like. And, despite the pair saying they'll meet unarmed, both of them are packing weapons, of course. Garak gets O'Brien to put down his phaser rifle and anything else, which, of course, he had other guns and things. He had a phaser and a tricorder, and he puts them down. And then Garak puts up kitty cat claws, which I assume is Cardassian martial arts. Maybe Guinan was proficient in Cardassian martial arts when she put the kitty cat claws up against Q. Anyway, back to this. Punching ensues, and O'Brien says he's not a soldier, he's an engineer. And that's when he taps his comm badge, detonates his pile of discarded technology, blowing up and knocking out Garak. Back on DS9, Bashir says he got all them drugs out of Garak's system. Garak is a bit embarrassed, and O'Brien says, we still managed to find the plasma manifold like we needed to, and there is going to be an inquest, which, fair, he did murder a person, and played around with some corpses. Garak mentions that if he was nearer the phaser when it overloaded, he might have died. And O'Brien says, yeah, that was the plan. And we end on that note, as Garak's learned a little bit about his friend Miles.
Right, that's 1 minute 35. And, I feel this is that one great... Charlie, have you ever tried to have, you've ever had friends from two separate friend groups kind of meet up, and you're like, oh, maybe I can kind of get, merge both sets of friend groups into one super group of friends, almost like the traveling Wilburys, and then it happens, you're like, no, this isn't gonna work.
So I used to do a lot of rock band parties in the flat that I was living in, and I'd try and merge some friend groups and have some of them interact with each other, and sometimes it went well, sometimes it led to folks dating, which went well or badly. But never ended up with two of them having a standoff. Oh no, sorry. No, it did, but that was my brother. And the guy that was dressed as Wolverine that he was threatening did say afterwards he couldn't remember why they got in an argument, but he probably deserved it.
Because I feel this is why Bashir doesn't hang out with both Garak and O'Brien at the same time.
Oh, definitely. There is some residual resentment at the start where it's like, I know this is probably after they tried to dial back Garak and Bashir's friendship. And you can feel some jealousy from Garak early on about how he's hanging out with O'Brien now and all that, which was good fun. And this is another one where you had that kind of switch over, because Garak is a bit of an abrasive person at times. So him snipping at O'Brien about his war history and all that, it kind of happens even before he gets infected with the psychotropics. But that just dials up gradually and gradually. Even him wandering off, going, "Oh yeah, I'm going off on my own," and going to hunt some people. And the engineer's like, "Fine, fine, I guess. Like, we got work to do, so it'll keep him occupied."
So they're going to a dangerous location, which they know to be booby trapped.
Yep.
And they never think to bring a medic.
Look, again, it would be really socially awkward bringing Julian in on all this. So yeah, I think maybe. See, I was thinking originally when you had mentioned this pre us recording that it was just engineer hubris of get in. There we go. We've got a plug. Let's leave, and that it would have been fine. But yeah, like they probably should have had someone medically trained. If only we could have checked if any of the lower deckers had like a secondment in medical at some point. Oh dear, they're all dead.
You didn't even need to bring Bashir, because then the story would become Bashir versus Garak, not O'Brien versus Garak. Although I feel like the last time Bashir and Garak hung out, Bashir did shoot Garak in the neck.
Yeah. Again, awkward friendships all around. I don't know. Like, it was interesting to see, and whenever Colmini gets to be a bit of an action guy,
yeah,
it's good fun. You know, like I wouldn't want it all the time.
No. I mean, when I first saw the movie Con Air, I wasn't expecting Colmini to be like the douchey FBI agent with like the nice car who is like pursuing the plane.
Yeah, you expect him to be like a kind of mini boss in a Guy Ritchie film, almost.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But yeah, like this was a fun little episode. They got to reuse all of their sets, so I guess this might be a bottle episode, given they would just we'll use the normal stuff, just clear away any of the props, you know, make it look a little dusty, and maybe drape a corpse around.
We'll just like keep the lighting to a bare minimum, which will make it look as dirty and shitty as possible.
Yeah. I mean, who knows how long this is a set that's been around for 5 years, so maybe that's all they needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is one of those few times when I feel Star Trek kind of goes full alien.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, and it is a thing they can do. Like the story broken by Brian Fuller was apparently going to be a bit different, with Garak and Worf instead, and apparently based on a film from 1977 called Blue Sunshine, which I've never heard of.
Never heard of. I don't know.
No.
I think it would work. The idea works better with Worf with O'Brien versus Garak, because you get the feeling with Worf that the moment someone tells him, "Oh yeah, Garak has gone crazy and is killing everyone. We need someone to put him down." Worf is like, "This is the best day."
Yeah. Oh! I've just snapped his neck halfway through this sentence. Okay, good.
I get to kill a Cardassian, and I'm not going to have an HR meeting about it afterwards. Can I eat him?
I get to kill a person and not have an HR meeting.
It's like,
okay.
Oh, it's Christmas. It's Klingon Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. But with O'Brien, it was good fun seeing him and Nog trying to logic out, trying to figure out the situation. And, like, I don't know, that bit at the end where he's like, "I'm not a soldier anymore, I'm an engineer," and the explosion, I popped for that. I was like, "Yes, boy! Yes, O'Brien!" That was a brilliant moment. I loved that. Because, he didn't just come up with a problem that was punching. Sure, it was an explosion, but he used his brain for it, and it's like, yes,
Uh,
good.
oh, Nog, you eager little tryhard.
Oh, poor Nog. It was fun seeing him at the start, getting the resentment from Quark about the engineering work and being like, oh,
Yeah, what you
I
gonna do?
gotta, yeah, I'm Starfleet now. Check out the threads. But yeah,
Oh god, I feel like Nog is like one of my favorite characters. Like Rom and Nog are two of my favorite supporting characters in DS9.
oh yeah,
Oh,
the way that Nog's grown from being Jake's kind of unpleasant little sidekick friend to
oh no. Jake was let's be honest. I think Jake was the sidekick to a lot of Nog's really weird schemes.
oh god, that he was definitely the king of the scheming out of the pair. But you need that person.
Like Jake is for my second Only Fools reference of the episode. Jake is Rodney to Nog's wannabe Del.
Oh,
Let's be honest. Nog is okay. Is Nog Del like a wannabe Del boy, or is he Trigger? I think Rom is Trigger.
yeah, Rom's definitely Trigger.
Oh god, what if Rom just called everyone Dave? I mean, that'd be
I
great.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, Dave. Yeah. Alas, supporting extras, we hardly knew ye.
I know.
You all had a shtick, and also, what was the name of the woman who had the phaser rifle?
Stoltzov.
Yeah, bad trigger management there. Because even if you've got the safety on, you don't point a weapon at anybody, and she's
Yeah.
fucking pointing that weapon at everyone. Like the guy in Plan 9 from Outer Space who at one point scratches his head with his gun.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Bokta. Like Bolians are generally all right, and yeah, he seemed very much like, yeah, we'll get through this. So,
oh
fuck.
god, oh
Out
no,
of all of them, you are doomed. You are the most.
no, you're the chip one in a horror movie. You're dead. Also, he's a different color than the rest of them, so he was gonna die early regardless.
God, I thought I would have put better odds on Pachetti surviving because he's the one that had a shtick with liking Cardassian like military things, and it's not necessarily a great shtick, but it's more than Stoltzov and Amaro got.
Oh no, it's because he has the ironic shtick that he gets the ironic death. Like he gets cut to death with like a Cardassian military insignia.
He could probably tell you exactly the kind of weapon that killed him as well. It's like, at least it was a good piece of equipment.
Okay, do you think that if they still do like horror slasher films in the world of Star Trek, do you think it's become Bolian dies first? Like that's the trope of like a horror holo novel in the Star Trek universe.
It's like, I'd hope they get beyond that in general. But...
No, you watch it, it's like, oh god, it's like they're like, the Bolian, come on, the Bolian always dies first. It's always the Bolian.
It's alright. In this film, it's for Benzite instead. Yeah. But yes, this was an entertaining one, and obviously Andrew Robinson's done some good villain work before.
He did not like this episode.
No. Apparently he had a lot of notes.
Yeah.
And things on it. And like they changed a bunch of it because of what he'd talked about. But yeah, he still feels like the surly player at a role-playing table that just wanders off and does whatever on his own, not necessarily always realizing that's going to cut his own screen time around the table down by a lot. But like I can see an amount of Garak going, well, I'm going to do some very unsavory things, and I'd rather they not get noticed.
I have been keeping up this Taylor shtick for a while now, even though at this point Garak's Taylor shtick is about as believable as Wolverine's "I'm a tough, gruff loner who don't stick his neck out for no one."
Yeah, it feels like there might be a person that is unaware that he's more than just a tailor. but probably just one.
Do you think actually the rest of the crew beyond like the main cast know that Garak's formerly a spy? Do you think
Some.
it's one of them they keep a meeting, or it's like or it's just like, okay, we're not going to talk. Like they take like Cisco has to take everyone into like a separate room and go, okay, just so you know, Garak is an ex-spy and interrogator. We don't talk about it. Can you put your name here so you can say for your records that you've had the meeting?
I don't know if they'd have that, but might have a moment of yeah, we all know. It's like, oh, good, okay, we covered this a few months ago. All right.
Yeah, Garak's a spy, and Worf is sleeping with Jadzia, and Odo and Kira have this whole will they, won't they?
So, where do you reckon this goes on our big list?
Oh, I do not know. Like, I
Hmm.
feel out of, I don't know. I feel out of the three, this was kind of they're all good episodes.
Yeah.
But I feel like after the horror craziness of Wolf in the Fold and Picardo swinging and hitting, playing a villain in Darkling, this one is just kind of let down a bit.
Yeah, I feel Picardo's definitely the villain of the night. Out of all of them, and the daft fun of the other one of Wolf.
I don't know if you would have wanted more or less up-named characters because it is that kind of thing of you've got O'Brien, you've got Nog, and you've got these four right here, and they're talking about how doomed they are. So I don't think they're lasting the episode.
See, I would have liked it if they were people that would have survived, or like it's nice when you start to see that the crew is more than just the main characters. It's like going, oh yeah, Nurse Ogawa exists,
Yeah,
or the I guess all of the crew that aren't the main 3 or 4 in Discovery, and go, oh shit, yeah, there are people here.
I feel like they joke about like the red shirts in Star Trek getting a raw deal. I feel like it's in this era of shows, especially with TNG and DS9, that the indiscriminate violence towards people who aren't main characters is more prominent than it was in the original show. Because at least Kirk was still caring.
Oh my god, that was a big surprise with actually watching TOS and going, oh yeah, red shirts do happen, but it hits Kirk every time.
Whereas
he feels it. Where Picard and Cisco are both a bit kind of, well,
it's them's the breaks, and O'Brien is just like, I'm upset about this, but I'll get good and drunk about it later.
Yeah, because these are 4 of his staff, and it must take a lot to train people about how to work DS9.
But again, I feel like that's just kind of like one of those necessities. Like it's one of those things of, yes, this is going to happen because it's a TV show, and we're not really meant to think about it in a wider way because this is basically disposable entertainment.
Yeah. Okay, so scrolling down from 129, where Wolf in the Fold is. Let's see. So at 134, we have Enterprise's Augments, where Soong has some issues with his kids. Because, above that, 133, we've got Kobayashi from Prodigy, and then Time and Again from Voyager.
I
think are both better.
I'm looking down at 136 Minefield.
Yeah.
And I think that Minefield is a stronger episode because it's not really a bottle show, but you do have the long sequence where you just have Archer and Reed like stuck on the mine.
Oh god, yeah. There's some nice tension there.
Yeah.
Okay. Under that, at 137, we got Coda, where Janeway's a ghost and encounters her ghost dad, or a cosmic entity pretending to be her ghost dad.
Below that, we have Cat's Paw.
Oh, this isn't as good as Cat's Paw.
No. All right. Okay. Going down a bit further. 141. TOS's Charlie X.
Ooh. Which is a classic episode, but Charlie X is a real jerk. I don't know, this might be better?
Yeah.
Like, it's got some good tension, and again, some real fun moments from O'Brien, Nog, and Garak.
And then, but above that 140, we have DS9's, DS9's His Way, where Odo gets tips on how to pick up girls from a holographic lounge lizard.
Oh, I think I prefer that to this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're right, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what this episode would have needed? Nanar Visitor singing Fever as Garak is slowly going insane from the psychotropic drugs.
I mean, you say that, but given it's Garak, would it have been Bashir singing Fever?
Oh god, is he still wearing like the slinky night?
Definitely.
Okay, then yeah, that would be better.
Oh wow.
It's a shame Vic Fontaine doesn't happen earlier in the show, because then it's like, yeah, this is clearly going on at the same time. Like, clearly, if this were happening at the same time, Odo's learning how to pick up girls in the holosuite. He just comes out and he's like, where's the chief? And like, oh yeah, the chief's on Empok North. Shit went down.
Oh. So, yeah, that's our new 141. And, Halloween dispelled once again.
And thankfully, the Crypt Keeper remained stuck in a trunk.
Yeah, where he belongs.
Yeah.
So, next time, we're going to be taking a bit of a look, in a punctual fashion, of course, at the Star Trek Khan podcast. Or only the start of it, because, we have a bit to go through with that. And hopefully that'll be good fun. You can find us on Facebook, where we have a page for Casual Trek. Also on Blue Sky, where our account's casualtrek.bsky.social. If you like what we do, you could fling us some money on kofi.com/casualtrek, and that will save us going to abandoned stations to pull apart bits of technology in order to keep this podcast going. Miles, where can the good folks find you?
Well, they can find me on my blog at mareadalbarto.wordpress.com, where I have posted something finally.
Yes!
Now, hopefully,
I've not looked at my RSS feed in a few days, so I did not know.
So hopefully, it won't take me 3 months to write something to write something else. It's just like, it's like when you're trying to write about, hey, what's new in your life? You're like, shit's on fire, yo. How many times can you make shit's on fire, yo, seem like interesting to read and not a very evident cry for help?
Yeah, I find that tricky.
And then I am on Blue Sky at milesreadlabarto.bsky.social, just kind of milling about, trying not to doom scroll, which, is difficult to do, and I could use that time far more better.
Yes, I'd say setting time limits helps, but I often click ignore it for 15 minutes.
Yep.
I really wish I hadn't learnt that was possible.
Mm-hmm. And Charlie, which tree under the level, smelling vaguely of Pims, can the good folks find you?
I thought you were going to say piss.
No, because that would be mean. And I'm British. We're never mean to our friend.
Yeah, I guess one near some seagulls that are eyeing up pasty or whatever food I've got suspiciously, like they're about to attack. But if you are online, then you can find me at skyshark.itch.io for my RPG and comic work. The WIP anthology is not yet out at time of recording, but keep an eye out for Volume 8, as it's imminent, as I'm sure it's going to be released at the same time or round about when Thought Bubble happens in November. I have been on the Sprigs and Kindling anthology. The October issue will have my largest work for them, whole trophy gold scenario about whiskey. So yeah, mixing my interests. And yeah, if at the day of airing, I hope if any of you are in Germany at Essen Spiel, you said hi to the doughy guy with inevitably an X-Men t-shirt, as that was probably me.
Oh, you're going to Germany.
I am. Yes, my second time in 23 years going to Essen Spiel. It's my belated 40th birthday because that happened during lockdown.
Go to a Starfleet. Don't get high on psychotropic drugs and try and murder your co-workers. Because believe me, you get such a meeting afterwards.
Oh my god, it took so long for meeting after that. No wonder Starfleet doesn't have HR.
And that said, live long and live long.
Go eat a jelly baby and maybe do a bit of a belly dance if you feel like it.
You know what? I think I probably will.
You've been listening to Casual Trek by Charlie Etheridge Nunn and Miles Reed-Lobato. Music by Alfred Etheridge Nunn. Casual Trek's part of the Nerd and Tie network, and if you want to support us monetarily, because you love what we do that much, you can now do that by going to Ko-fi and looking up Casual Trek. There's a link in the show notes.